2 days before the clap ending the year 2012, a regatta scene of a planetary scale taking place somewhere in the Pacific Ocean on a sunny day. Leading roles are played by François Gabart and Armel Cléac'h. We're Saturday, December 29th, 50th day of the race. I think we've done 15,000 miles. Maybe a bit less, about 15,000 anyway. And with Banque Populaire, we have trouble separating. We sail in sail, so to speak. I'll show you the animal. You see? Even on camera, we get to see him well. He's at 10 length. Jenneker, the reef. In the Vendée Globe's history, or probably in races around the world, such a situation had never occurred at this stage of the race. We're still with our comrade, François, who's just beside us. We'll zoom in, get a closer look. There, he's at 2 miles upwind. We could say François and I are heading towards the Cape Horn together. Totally hallucinating. If we put that to another sport competition, the gaps, it's as if Usain Bolt won the 100 meters by 0.3 of a second, a centimeter, not even, a millimeter. And until the Cape Horn, no reason for it to change. The more so since we know the two best enemies have sworn a holy union facing the iceberg's threats. These shots, taken between December 1st and 21st, show their presence in the famous Cape's vicinity. Looking over the fleet, we see that Dominique Vavre is in the middle of the ranking. In 7th position, he has other preoccupations than his comrades at the head. On such a day, considering the navigating conditions, we could almost envy him. We're very close to the Pacific's anticyclone. Too close, really. We can tell we're in the anticyclone. Navigation is pleasant. We could think we're in the trade winds. This was from Mirabeau in the Pacific, wearing its name well today. 1,500 miles behind Dominique Vavre, Tanguy de la Motte, 12th, doesn't seem to be under the same skies by far. Ambiance is rather cool. I have trouble warming up. You see, it's cold inside, and there's steam when you breathe. So I made myself a warm cup of tea. I made 2 major maneuvers outside. Now have real trouble warming up. So the last hours of the year aren't very pleasant, but the journey still goes on, and we're on the way, so everything's fine. All is well for Jean-Pierre Dick, also third. In 48 hours, he caught up over 200 miles on the leaders. But the South Seas, we understand, he's a little fed up with. It's tough. Oh, life on a boat for over a month. It's tiring, it wears you out. We'd like to have other conditions now. And that better not even consider until you've passed the Cape Horn and entered the new year. Since we're on the Oakland time zone, we'll be the first to get to 2013. I wanted to wish you a happy new year. Yep, and tomorrow again. That's what's nice about this. Tomorrow again, as we pass the anti-meridian, we'll have another go at the 31st. Happy New Year! Whirled into a spatio-temporal whirlwind, while others are still in 2012, Tanguy de la Motte is about to go back in time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Best wishes! Best wishes, still at 25 knots. All the best. Good health. Oh, they are beautiful. Long year 2013. May all your projects become reality. And as here with my 12 comrades in the Great South, enjoy yourself. That's the worst I can wish you all. Happy New Year. Let everything you've dreamed of and wished happen this year in 2013. Happy New Year from Team Plastique. Here I have Santa's hat. He left it on board. Indian Ocean, south of Australia, and in a few days, the Pacific Ocean. Go, go, go! Happy 2013. Ciao, nice sunset here. Sunset for some, pea soup for others. It varies. So here's the ambiance. As could be said, Dre-ish. The ambiance for Arnaud Boissière, to whom the Pacific mists at least allow to try his sense of humor. We can't see a thing, it's the new year. And maybe we'll see clearer in 2013. The year one can see more clear. To see clearly, both leaders, François Gabart and Armel Cléac'h, will need to soon. Their first day of the year should correspond to the pass of the Cape Horn, in which surroundings the danger is confirmed. We should pass the Cape Horn not far from one another. Icebergs are expected along the way. That's the bad news. We're going to have to be extra vigilant. Probably call each other over VHF to communicate about these ice cubes if ever we see any. Happy New Year to all. I wish you a Happy New Year to all that follow us in this race, and to all the others, everyone. Great health, lots of good things. We're not far from South America now, about 30 miles under wind. We should make it to the Cape Horn by the end of the day. The Cape Horn, a geographical cape, surely that resounds to adventure stories, but also a psychological cape for an around-the-world race. All who have passed it one day will tell you. Michel, remember, your first Cape Horn, was there a lot of emotion? Well, it's not so the cape in itself, because of course it's a mythical cape that's won acclaim in different times. For me, that's how I've lived up to it on both my Vendée Globe. Once you reach Cape Horn, there's a relief effect. You're out of a month in the South Seas, anxious to near the coastlines. It'll be the first coast, the first real coast they'll see since a month and a half. It's like getting back to civilization, a return to a slightly more protected life. For me, the Cape Horn was a great moment of freedom. Yahoo! For François Gabart, freedom appeared on January 1st, 2013 at 7:20 French time. There we are, we passed the Cape Horn longitude. We're done. So we'll try to get a little closer. Anyway, we're in the right direction because the wind will come from the left side, so we should remain near the coast. Imagine yourself, the animal, the rascal, is at 2.5 miles. There. I don't know if you see anything. I see a spot. Yes. Today, the Cape Horn isn't very photogenic. True, but this moment needs to be assorted to an information revealing of the performance. The fleet's youngest, 29, showed up in front of the famous rock after 52 days race. 4 days less than his mentor's record, Michel Desjoyaux, in 2009. And 75 minutes after François Gabart, almost nothing to the Vendée Globe standard, it was Armel Cléac'h's turn. We passed the Cape Horn a little while ago, so now we're in the Atlantic. We're done with the South Seas. Indian and Pacific Oceans are well behind. Now, we'll try to avoid the icebergs that are quite present over the next 100 miles. A little cheer for the Cape Horn. One for the boat. At Bernard Stamm's, it's more frosty reception. Let's take a quick look at the facts. On December 23rd, as the Swiss is anchored near the Auckland Islands to repair his hydro generators, noticing his boat is at adrift, he makes the decision to moor to a scientific boat under Russian flag anchored in the same bay. A few days later, the race committee files a complaint against the Cheminée Poujoula skipper, considering they received outside assistance. Followed the reunion of an international jury who applied the rules and decided to disqualify Bernard Stamm. Here's his reaction. Well, as you can imagine, things could be better. Now, I'm allowed to ask for the case reopening, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I believe to have acted with the security of my boat in mind. and above all, according to the race's spirit. That's it. Bernard Stamm, who obtained his case to be reconsidered, hopes to remain in the race. The Vendée Globe is in its 55th day when Jean-Pierre Dick enters, or rather re-enters, the Atlantic Ocean. In other words, he's the third participant to have passed the Cape Horn. Easier said than done. It was pitch dark, and I didn't see the rock. All night, as I was engaged in the Drake Pass, it was absolute horror. I didn't see any north wind, but I think the wind conditions are favorable to catch up. Now it all relies on me to set the turbo and establish contact. May the ones in the lead be warned, those who fetched wind to east of the Falkland Islands. Taking advantage of a moment's calm, the leader, François Gabart, killed two birds with a stone. With the help of an underwater camera, he inspects the lower hull of his boat, checking that nothing got stuck to the appendix. While at it, he shows us angles of massif you've rarely seen. Here, the root blade. Then, just for the time to pull out the camera, turn it around, and plunge it back in the water, the keel. At the other end of the fleet, the Atlantic is still far for Alessandro Di Benedetto. South of New Zealand on board Team Plastique. Pretty colors with sunshine once in a while. Nice waves too. I'm a little under-canvassed because of automatic piloting problems. Troubles that are partly resolved, which didn't affect his good mood and share his immeasurable joy of being at sea. Magnificent albatros. Such is life on the Vendée Globe at the beginning of this new year, under austral latitudes between the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic, in which Alex Thompson, fourth, has gotten to. Always unable to send images, the Hugo Boss skipper can be proud of having passed the Cape Horn on solitary. Watch out for the quiet Brit, who only has a day and a half of delay on the two leaders, François Gabart and Armel, whose strategies are beginning to show upon their Atlantic's ascent.